1, 2. Alright, great. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Pro-Vice Chancellor Sankat, Professor Red Dog, Jen Joseph, and for Joseph. As well as big up all the students here, gentlewomen and gentlemen. And today I'm going to discuss exploring the Carimagination. Right, it's a word I invented, not with too much effort, anyway. Do you ever wish your life had background music? In my mind, I have a running playlist of Daft Punk, Sizzler, Iowa George, and Stephen Marley. And has there ever been a moment when you find yourself whining in front of the mirror to soca music? And when someone knocks on your door, you tell them, yeah, I'm just exercising. That has nothing to do with my imagination, actually, I do that. I imagine myself giving a lecture on sociology of soca music, discussing Marshall Montano's fog and the psychological concept of self-efficacy. I'm trying to tell my students that Mr. Iowa George is the Dr. Seuss of our time. Alonson Hines, a pioneer for the politics of regionalism, Fair Alliance and feminism, the double entendre of misbehave, chutney music and challenges to the hegemonic spaces broken down by Trupati Ramgunai. And the more important question, not why did Ravi B get that haircut, but who is this barber? On my business card, I have the position as socaologist. Imagine a world I grew up in when a teacher told the entire class that all I would amount to is selling nuts. The entire class laughed. I wanted to tell that teacher he was a bully. I wanted to tell the students, yes, it was a joke, but it didn't warrant a laugh. And I wanted to tell the entire world that Rastas who sell nuts on the highway are Bobo Shanti Rastafarians, who do not accept the institutional goals nor the cultural means by achieving these things in Babylon society. I wanted to remix the song Don't Kill My Vibe. I could feel your thirstiness from 2 tables away. I got my drink, I got my straw, and Rasta don't eat fried chicken. I'm saying, chick, don't steal my fries. 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 Yeah, I just wanted to sing that the whole time, actually. Imagine if boys actually blushed and smiled in person as they did on WhatsApp. Imagine if there was no BlackBerry chat after 10 p.m. So when a girl messages me, what you doing now? I reply with a covered-eyed smiley, in bed. Imagine if you could blend 6 power mints in water to quench the unquenchable thirst of thirstiness. Spell with a U. For that reason, I take my phone off after 10. I live in a humble apartment in Curia. My street is a bit scary, but my apartment building is safe. I sometimes imagine a doubles man with Lothar on his face. I don't know why he had Lothar, but from my observation, the best doubles men have Lothar on their faces. And he asked me about history. I spoke to him about the Rastafari contributions to the world. Things like I man, in my language that refers to the submissive me in English. I and I. The human connectedness and oneness with God. That the Rastas invented the iPod, the iPhone, the everything. That Rastas invented traffic lights because it has red, gold, and green. I don't know if he believed everything I said, but he took notes attentively. Imagine, yesterday, I asked my aunt to borrow her car keys. She then asked Amilka, did you bathe with soap? I don't know why she asked if I bathed with soap. But I answered, yes, auntie, I bathed with soap, even though I was not sure I did. I took a drive south like beautiful things like, good morning. I imagined myself performing in front of a crowd of hundreds of rather sexy first-year students. These students didn't care to listen to what I had said because they had these mimic people walking around as I spoke. They were also in anticipation of free things. Still, I did my poem in front of 100. I said, every time I come to the stage, I find myself proving to you the way I feel about her. And this is the saddest poem I've ever had to write. I want value the words have if not spoken through the poets, and she's not here on this mic. And I know what it feels like to see night in today and I'm still thinking about her. And there's no breath too wide, volume too deep, altitude too high above her. and the silent flames of candlelight is the glowing desire and patience I've had for her, and for her I dedicate every breath. And if that is not enough, I dedicate a lifetime to her after death. You see, the words of a poet are as gentle as flowers, or lies that make the heavy heart grow lighter. Then for her, I am a poet, I am a florist, I am her lyre. She possesses not, neither would she ever be possessed. Where the love builds, the love destroys, we know love overwhelms. How much love I could live in a lifetime is all I try to answer. She is the masterpiece of Da Vinci, and the code he can decipher. The words that shape her spirit, so for her I must recite the love I prove to you every time I step to this mic. Imagine how that girl would feel if only she was real. Imagine if the crowd did not know if or when to clap. Imagine if everything I said was fiction or I made nothing up. Imagine. Hi, good morning. My name is Sanatan. I know it's the easiest name to pronounce, but as I said, in the age of Barack Obama, I stand as a cool guy. For those of you all who are here, Ether, and I paid the price for it. Next, I came to the University of the West Indies and did my major in psychology and a minor in sociology to my postgraduate studies in gender and development. I developed a love for reading books. Do take a visit to the Alma Jordan Library. I was there in deep conversation with authors, and I entered new worlds. My second passion was for the oral tradition in the Caribbean, the emotional and intellectual intelligence in my poetry, my music, and developing modern pickup lines for women like, I have a phone charger. Growing up, it was very difficult to envisage a world where I could do what I want. However, I knew within the silences of my heart that no one believed me until I believed me. In order to engage in imagination, we are required to critically interrogate the present, our idea of reality, and most importantly, ourselves. I had to ask questions. I actually started from what's called baby questions. Do vegetarians eat animal cookies? Do clothes in China say made around the corner? Is doubles in Trinidad and Tobago a local product? When is it local? I mean, do you think doubles is a local product? It actually contributes nothing to our local economy because the chana is imported, the flour is imported, the turmeric is from India. The only thing that might be indigenous is the mango, and the cucumbers may be hydroponically grown with chemicals from away. The point is, it is culturally a local product, but it contributes not $1 into our economy. We set macaroni pie for people who like to use mac and cheese and add more cheese and make macaroni pie. Soca music, that some people said it was apolitical, but what about the politics of happiness? That the Prime Minister would be a woman, yet women are least represented in elected government. That youth violence and silence, but what about employment? That we would think about the sociological imagination, what historical and social forces that brought us here. I asked the question, what does it mean to be a human being? And how do I become a Carimagination? And you all may have a hard time entering university. You know why? Because informed through your parents cannot decide your life by telling you, you could be a doctor or a lawyer. And it's like, Mommy, well, actually, I want to do art. No. I don't want you to practice asking, do you want any prize with that? And then they send you out through school, and then you're like in this metaphorical maxi, and then the driver turn around and tell you, alright, well, get out now. And you actually don't know where you are. So the imagination is very important. Imagination is the art of bringing to reality what is not yet possible. In life, we sometimes bind ourselves to false ambitions, to the possession of things rather than purpose. At this university, you're required to locate yourself in deep education, in body, in mind, and in spirit. This represents a philosophical shift from trying to attain a qualification over an education, instead of regurgitating for the sake of being the brightest. Next, it is through critical thinking that we experience growth. In life, our opinions change. This is not always a bad thing. Some of you are part of religious groups. I would like to tell you that the voice of God doesn't start when you open the Bible, neither does it stop when you close the Bhagavad Gita or Quran. That tradition is something that just keeps looking backward, but it's something to carry forward. That your mommy and daddy's living room philosophy is not the only opinion that exists in the world. Or else you stay static, or else there is no movement. And then you'll be one of the persons with a Me Too cell phone crawling about Android technology and the many things we could do at our fingertips. You should also be aware of false growth. Just because you have grown up doesn't mean you have grown. Or else you could be like Miley Cyrus making quite a fool of herself at the VMAs. What is growth? What is growth? Junior, you're a genius. What is Brazil, Russia, China, South Africa? Restructuring the economy and altering global politics over a 20-year trajectory. That is growth. Indeed, Caribbean life is complex and contradictory. And yes, in the impossible story of the Caribbean, resistance and freedom, our heroes who stood on the battlefield of justice, no theory, no ideology could substitute the role of the imagination had in envisioning a new Caribbean society. Today, some say politics has a morality of its own. Then I tell them, therefore, it has none. People hate the politics that hate the people. We want air condition, but what's the air's condition? Life should not always be who you know as you come up, but rather who knows you for your character. What kind of human being will you be? No, we ask the fundamental philosophical question, how shall I live? Imagine if the pursuit of happiness was not seen on an invoice, but the strength we could own as our inner voice. Imagine if parents did not check your grades to funnel you into a career. Imagine if schooling helped you determine your calling. Imagine if everything's not about qualification, but rather the pursuit of deep education. This shift will make our minds discuss the forms and meanings of life. Imagine instead of Ministry of National Security, we had a Ministry of National Safety, where the law was a shield for all citizens. In the ghettos and the youths trying to find their way in a cold world. Imagine if we lived their dreams, maybe their genes will follow. There may be nothing smart about a phone that keeps our head down, but smart is a confidence that keeps our head up. We know an island is an orphan on its own. Imagine we are all islands in one Caribbean house. Student life is more than just a Wednesday night free at a certain club in Port of Spain, but a trust to develop clubs and societies that grow the consciousness of our nation. Imagine a society where race is not a point of contest and confusion, but a difference we seek to understand and deepen our connectedness, especially in a nation that keeps douglarizing itself. We are segregated in the day and desegregated in the night. Imagine cultural difference is not something which divides, but a cultural DNA that sees us all as inheritors. We have leaders and we have followers, and I'd rather be a toothpick than a swallower. I just wanted to say that. Imagine a world where a young man asks a young woman, what do you do? It's not a gift, but an eye that sometimes seeks the lonelier, but a more creative way beyond the boundary. The imagination knows borders exist in our passports and not our minds. Borders exist in our passports and not our minds. Borders exist in our passports and not our minds. Thank you very much.
Yeah. America, the neighborhood rockstar.